Sister Kemi, what up?
Good
What
brother.
up?
Thank you so much. Yes. Come on in the room. What's up, good brother?
I'm good. I'm good. How you
Been
been? How
burning
you
up that
been?
road. Yes. Yes. Man, I got a little late start. Let me get my tea.
Yeah. Hey,
Yes.
I gotta get
I
my tea
already
too.
know you in there.
Hold on. Let me get my tea too.
Get your tea. Everybody get their tea. Tea up in here. Yeah. Gotta get a little late start. It's all good for the people. Get my tea together. What y'all sipping on? All right. Come on in the room, people. Get my tea. Man, the D Nice was kicking it last night.
Brother Spry, what it is?
Tell you. Okay. Right. I'm excited. Man, I had to try to look for some archives this morning.
Hey, I did too. I was like, okay, if she come with this, I'm gonna come with that because
Right. Do you understand, man?
I know she gonna spit straight fire.
Oh man, please. You know, I gotta watch out for you, kiddo. Seriously.
Well,
Watch.
I'm coming out of retirement, so
This is what I'm saying. All right. Okay, great people. Shay's on. Get your tea. Get your tea together.
what up, Shayson?
Wow. This is super exciting. Yes, it
I
is.
know, right?
Yes. Woo. Man. All right. Oh, Lord. Lord. What's going on, great people? What's happening? Oh, my goodness. This is an exciting episode. Look here. Way back in the day, I done took it all the way back. Let me see. I'm pulling up some documents and everything. Ed, I already know.
Hey, we going through 20-something years of work, ain't we?
Oh man, together we holding it all the way down. Golly, I'm super excited. So, how's your week been, Ed? How's everybody's week been? Great morning. Tanja's in the house.
Yeah, our regulars are here. I feel
Yes,
great.
I feel great as
I
well.
feel I was able
I
to
feel.
hook up with brother Bohannon's son, so I feel a little more
Oh
free.
wow, powerful,
Mm-hmm.
powerful.
And you know how you talk to your peoples that know you, you just feel a little bit better, you know.
You feel a little bit better. You feel a little bit
And
better. Come on to the room, great
plus
people.
plus that PhD demon is off me, you know.
It, uh, 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 uh,
I got to grade a few more papers and I'm out this semester. Okay.
Oh man, that's a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing. All right, we got the popping here. We got the porch on Peachtree docks coming all the way up. And wow, it's a beautiful thing. All right. Great Sunday morning, people. We are on the ones and twos, Brother Ed.
What up?
Man, this is pretty exciting here. So we were talking earlier this week. For those that's joining us on the porch, we kind of get together and say, what are we gonna talk about? What are we gonna,
Yeah. What's our theme?
what's our theme? So I guess it had to be, it was like Wednesday or Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
We were just kind of pontificating on like what's it gonna look like, what's it gonna be, and we said let's take it back. Let's just take it on. Let's just take it on back. All right, so
Get back to how we met, you know.
Man, all the way back to more epics on Mitchell Street. Shazon, you remember that?
Yeah.
The mother poets in the house. Let's see what's happening here. Yeah, we about to ready to, let's see here.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. Yes. Welcome to Porch on Peachtree, y'all. Thanks for joining us, Mr. T. Feeding the children. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, watch out. You know what I'm saying? Had a few great opportunities. This is that little intro was I did some work with Kai Alsay back in 2008.
Okay.
And then good brother Dez Andreas from Slum Village remixed that. It's called Who's Feeding the Children. Thought it's,
Oh, look at you.
bringing out,
Look at
the
you.
rare poetic grooves from the crates, Had a great opportunity to do a few things. And so welcome to Porch on Peachtree, y'all. It's where we discuss and dissect art, music, current events, and community concerns. If you've been with us for the past few weeks since we kicked this off, we've talked about self-care. We've talked about what was the second episode?
Making
First
emotional
episode,
deposits. We talked about wealth creation.
that's right,
We talked
wealth and emotional
how to survive
deposits,
in this pandemic.
how to survive. We talked about investing in yourself, investing in the stock market. Last week was we paid tribute to good brother Mr. Bohannon. We talked about 5 lessons, from Mr. Bohannon. It was really, really great. And so just kind of lightening it up and also kind of stirring the pot with some poetry and poetry with purpose this morning.
Yes.
So, Ed, first of all, tell them who you are, Ed. Good brother Ed Garnes, for all of you who don't know, is a solid good brother with some scholastic education and things. And he's always coming with those sweet tea ethics,
Exactly.
Talk to him, Ed. Tell him about
sweet tea. Well, when I'm not drinking black tea in African villages, I am the founder of From Afros To Shelltoes. We focus on cultural productions that are all about emotional healing, self-development, and practical solutions to problems. And the heartbeat of From Afros To Shelltoes is sweet tea ethics, those grandma conversations you mix with common sense and a little bit of stamp of approval institutions and some barbershop and talk, and that's sweet tea ethics. And I have 2 masters. I have 2 master's degrees. Okay, I got a master's degree in counseling, master's degree in psychology. Working on my PhD in psychology. I teach psychology, but I am still susceptible to everything my brothers on the corner on Campbellton Road have to go through. My education does not shield me from anything, but I know a little something.
Little something about something. That's what's happening. And I'm your girl, Kemi Bennings, Renaissance woman and creative badass. Just a few different hats I wear, from the culinary arts to nursing and health education and certified life coaching. Kick-Ass Compassion is the name of that. Just sprinkle a little bit in, but also a little girl from Augusta, Georgia. You know what I mean? Following the spiritual arrows. And that's kind of where the poetry came in for me. So, and I don't know how we're gonna kick this thing off, but
well, I have a plan always.
Always.
I just wanted to ask you, even though we met on the stage in 2000, do you remember your first experience being exposed to poetry, or when you first started writing poetry?
Man, okay, so for me, I started writing poetry in high school. And one of the most profound pieces at that time, because my mother was in the hospital, and I was really inspired by this Black woman physician who attended my mother. And I wrote a poem for her. And then warp speed till moving to Atlanta, I went down the rabbit hole of the poetry scene and landed in 2 places. That was Patty Hut Cafe and Yin Yang Cafe. That kind of blew my mind. It just really made me think about the poetry salons back in Harlem back in the day. It was such a very powerful time where all things art and music was colliding. And, it inspired me even more to put the pen to paper and see what was going on, and primarily, I feel like, poetry and prose is for the individual first. And I feel like it's also a responsibility in our job to somewhat pull something from behind the veil so that it is visible to others and that we grow and learn in the process.
Okay.
So, you know, that's kind of where it came for me. What about you, Ed?
Well, you know my mama. You know, we just gotta just bring Carolyn Garnes on in the room.
Let me go ahead and put the fist up.
You know, yeah, Power Fitch. You know how she had to answer David Fro. So my mom raised me to be black on purpose, right? And so I remember there was a book by Nikki Giovanni, "Spin a Soft Black Song," right? And she used to read these poems to me. We used to go to arts festivals. I remember going into a musty, damp basement, seeing Kawanza and Kunjufu talk about the conspiracy to destroy black boys when I was little, right? So I'm raised in this tradition of, she gave me Nikki Giovanni, James Baldwin, County Cullen, Paul Laurence Dunbar, Sonia Sanchez, okay? Rita Dove, okay?
Can I give a shout out to Oscar Brown Jr. and the Last
Poets?
Poets?
Come on now. And so what I realized in my mother giving me Richard Wright and, you know, Ralph Ellison and all these writers, that they were just feeding me, right? Because one of the few privileges that we have as black people is the ability to speak ourselves into freedom, you know? And so I remember my first poem, I had to think about this morning because I'm getting old. I think it was 1989. Right. And when I got to high school, I started winning writing competitions, and I became the person. Oh, it's Black History Month. Yes, you got something? Not too Malcolm X, but you got something for the program. So I was like the poetry speaker everywhere for Black History Month, Women's History, Fish Fry Sunday,
church programs.
Yeah, program. Then when I got to college, any black program. Excuse me. We heard you're a poet. We have parents coming that are black. Can you give us one of those things, right?
Yeah. So
I became that person. But, you know, it fed me. You know, just like I talked about jazz before. Shay's and I talking about Nikki Giovanni. It's one of our favorites. You know, to open for Nikki Giovanni and see her smile, I knew I had done something with my life, right?
Yes.
So that's where it comes from me. Carolyn Garnes, who won the Zora Neale Hurston Lifetime Achievement Award from the American Library Association. Okay, so that's where, you know, we got to give her props. That's where it comes
from.
Mama.
In a word. Mama. That's what's happening. And by chance, do you remember that poem, though?
What poem?
You know, one of the earlier days. You know what? And you know what I did, Ed, I was trying to dig through the crates, and you know, back then it was all about chat books. You know.
Okay, yeah, okay, I remember that.
You know, so
I
can
do a short one
uncovering. You know, I've had this in storage for quite some time. I couldn't find my personal copy, right?
Okay.
But I said I'm gonna go ahead. I've had this. And I haven't opened it probably since I started making books, which was, say, 1991, 92. Okay, so this right here is, I don't even know what I'm gonna find up in here. I think I know that it's my first book, but I can drop you a quick one, man.
I can drop you a quick one before I get into what I want to talk about today, some more recent stuff that people haven't had.
Mm-hmm.
So this particular poem meant a lot to me. You just disappeared, Kim. You got to announce yourself.
Carry on.
All right. I was sitting here talking to we as a people, and I just saw you get up. I was like,
no. Yeah, we good.
This poem was one of my classic pieces that's been published that I used to get requests for all the time. My friend Kia calls me king of the short poem. This is one of my shorter poems, but it's called Contemplation of a Looter Somewhere in the USA. As I stand before this window with brick in hand, listening to a stomach that... I can't even remember.
Take your time, Ed. Take your time. Take your time for the people.
But see, I always have a backup, right? So I'm
gonna
go with something. I'm gonna go with something for the times. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't even remember what poem. So this poem is kind of speaking to now, right? So when all these brothers started dying, my pen started getting hot. You know what I'm saying? My pen started getting real hot. And so this poem is entitled "What We Need Now is not another blues poem. This poem is in memory of Oscar Grant. Now I got to add like 25, 30 more names to it, okay? So it's written for Oscar Grant. All right. Get down, Curtis. Way down, darker than the bluest blues. Brother Mayfield, we need a love song. Mississippi, tree hanging funk, not too radio friendly. Something BET will refuse to play because its troops will ring louder than our iPhone ringtones. Get down, Richard. Way down, darker than the bluest blues. Brother Pryor, we need to find the funny. Chitlin Circus, slap your mama just to get over mud bun stories about Kunta and Nim. YouTube will ban, because we may learn why Dave Chappelle did the Watusi back to Mother Africa. Get down, Lassie. Way down, darker than the bluest blues. Man. And yeah, you're gonna have to go. I keep messing up. Pay
for the time. So
yeah, go ahead.
This is what I just uncovered right here, Ed. That's right, the finger snaps emoji. Thank you, Tanja. Thank you. This is what I've uncovered just a moment ago. If any of you out there have this book, this was I started making handcrafted hardcover books. I didn't know what I was going to uncover. I actually did the additions by colors that I would use. So it's a green edition, it's a maroon edition, it's a brown edition, it's a blue edition. And I just happened to uncover this right here. But handcrafted hardcover books, it is, wow, I'm kind of amazed right now. I probably made about 2,000 of these. Look, check it. With the CD in the back, Ed, watch yourself, of the poem.
Oh, come on now.
That was inspired by Brother Ekundayo Bandele out of Memphis, okay? But a poem for the times. Get up now to your waking life, where everything makes an impact on your life imprint. Striving to be the you that you were meant to be. Footprints of yours that you could see, showing that you actually walked this earth. Gave birth to something in writing and doing and in being. Love, overboard. Openly indulging in the kaleidoscope of human family. Quilted generations of faith, time, progress, and change. And change hadn't always been cute, and God knows change hadn't been easy. But the ashes of those shoulders we walk upon, and whose footprints we try on, are relying on us. Native tongue, native sunshine on thee, rightfully, magically in the midst of change, sparing change so the generations can speak, spoken words in high definition, spiritual ammunition, moving, creating evolution in space and time, empowering, mind-altering mental blockages, awakening giants. I am why the cage bird sings, feeling good vibrations of God flowing through me. Possibly I am the change I seek, freeing me, moving out of my way. I am the brighter day calling myself into my soul's purpose. Birthing dreams, it seems, cast universal light beings. Take flight, warp speed for humanity's calling. And while global warming is occurring, crying daily news blues of unheard of hurricanes and shootings and shootings and shootings and shootings and Myanmar cyclones, and yes, body remains toxic, chemical, whimsical newscasters, political, lyrical mix masters, blasting blasphemy and hypocrisy, casting net profits for the highest unethical crimes. Yet we sublime to better days that don't seem to come around, while we still stand around on every corner. But a change is going to come when united we stand for. We are the ones we've been waiting for. There you go, Ed. We are the ones.
It's like I'm like this at a village.
Man, you taking me all the way back.
So what was the inspiration? What was that one for?
This, I rarely title my pieces. That's one thing about Kemi Bennings.
Okay.
In my first book, this collection of poetry, I look at it kind of as a long epic poem. And I have two collections of poetry. The first you just saw, Evolution, and another one is called Transformation, which I completed when I lived in China. And that's a digital copy. Matter of fact, that's if you look on my Instagram page in the little website in the material, I guess in the, what do they call that part, Ed? In the
hey, I'm Teddy Riley. I don't
you
even
know,
know.
hey, look, the social media thing. But if you look on my Instagram page, you know, you'll see a little link to that particular book. But it's called Transformation. But Get Up Now was wow. I think I was really at a place where, you know, just making no excuses, you know, and reminding myself of who we are. And in the midst of all that's going on, we still have a responsibility, you know,
Come on.
as human beings, as proponents of change. And, you know, it was, man, every single line, most times one line stands out. And in this particular one is, and while global warming is occurring, crying daily news blues of unheard of hurricanes and Myanmar cyclones, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and another part of that walk on whose footprints we try on are relying on us. It so it just reminds us that we're not alone. We're standing on tall shoulders, you know, and you know we are the ones we've been waiting for. You know, a lot of my work is for me first. It kind of pulls me out of the rut. Sometimes it kind of yanks me off the fence. And sometimes it's a reminder of, you know, Black excellence and who we are. And, you know, because our ancestors made such strides, like, you know, those of us who claim the title of poet, that we continue to walk that walk, you know.
And you know, there's always this elder spirit, like wisdom. Like I want to just sit at your feet, like I do Nick Giovanni. And so it's like, you know, it's purpose driven. Like the poetic spirit jumps in you, and then it comes through to us. So that kind of motivated me to think about this Amir Baraka tribute I did. Like I've had the chance to open for legends, so. You know, sometimes I'm more nervous for regular crowds. Like you see, I couldn't even finish my first 2 points. I printed out the wrong thing because I ain't performing so long. But you know, legends, I get up for them. I'm not even nervous, right? So I met Baraka at DePaul University. I was his host. I never forget we were talking Black Revolution over raspberry cheesecake. He was always there for me when I was transitioning to my first PhD program years ago. And so when I found out that he transitioned, I was just trying to plan with one of his agents a tribute to him in Atlanta, right? And so when I got the news that he transitioned, I was like, man, things have gotten to that. And I just kept saying that. And so Brother Kevin Powell was looking for tributes to him. And this just came out like, I mean, I never stopped writing. Like as soon as Kevin said tribute, 10 minutes, I was done.
Wow.
This piece is for Amir Baraka. It's called Things Have Gotten to That, a blues suite in 3 parts. Days like this make you question the sunshine. If our North Star transforming realities can yield to the trick of death, what becomes of our post-Obama chances? We are presidents of blues. Humanity pitched and tossed. We may not even make it to Sunday. Things have gotten to that. Nights like this, you wish tears can chase spiked Kool-Aid. Now that you are gone, we have lost the bops in our steps. Meaningless millennial marches. We may sell our soul to Barney's and friends for purple blood diamonds. Things have gotten to that. Times like this ain't no jazz in June. They already quelled Medgar, Martin, Oscar, Trayvon, Malcolm. There is no spare train on Sweet Auburn Avenue. The funk's lore leaves us half breath. Spinning soft black songs for housewives with no husbands. Too low to cue. We just may forget your epilogue. Poems without works are dead. Things have gotten to that.
So, Wow, when you talk about Amir Baraka, man, I think the last time I saw him, I was in Atlanta. It was during a National Black Arts Festival. Honored honored him, and I think it was Sonia Sanchez as well. And I had an opportunity to sit with him once again. I met him a couple of times over the years, but it's just really, really powerful. You know, Brother Leroy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Leroy Jones.
To just be at his feet and to you know, I have a beautiful picture of he and I together.
Yeah.
And I'm always, when I think about Amiri Baraka, man, and everything that, you know, they went through to just kind of lay this groundwork for us.
Yeah.
Just really, Shazan say blown away. That will be the word.
Yeah, thank you, Shazan. You know, I had to knock the dust off. But you know, Amir Baraka's presence is there. Like even behind me, like for Hamu's work for some Gullah artists out of Charleston. Like he said, walls should speak. You got to put your art up. You got to put your defenses up on the wall. So
that's right.
Like he still travels with me today. And, you know, it's funny how you meet people at critical times. I was going through some stress in my first graduate experience when I met him. When we hooked back up, my parents were going through a divorce. So that wisdom still carries me. And I remember when I called him and, you know, I felt it was an honor. You know, he allowed me to call him a mamu. A lot of people didn't call him that. Only people from back in the day would. So I would always call him and he would I should sit at his feet, man. And that's how you know that you've done something with your life when you get that level of stamp of approval. Like, you don't necessarily go seek it, but when it comes, you like, okay, I'm in the pocket. I'm good.
Right. Exactly.
So what else you got? I'm ready. Go ahead. What else you got?
For the times. Let's see. Wow, you know,
it doesn't have to just be for the times. Whatever speaks to you right now. That was speaking to me right now. Whatever speaks to you right now.
Ooh. Candlelight and lava lamps. Orange and red hues subdue my senses. All my senses paralyzed in a senseless world, feeling paralyzed. I'm trying to make sense of this world. A world of worldly riches and control mechanisms, feeling paralyzed, trying to make sense of this world. Worldly riches and control mechanisms are beginning to outnumber human beings, being superior to our seeing eyes, seeing only in glitter and gold, paralyzed, making sense of this world, feeling paralyzed, disguised as glitter made of gold. Behold the tricks of the trade, trading tricks in politics for measuring sticks, being paralyzed, in this world being paralyzed. Suspect to expectation, obligation, and measurements of men and women being paralyzed in this world. Paralyzed. Baptized in unconditional love above our sense of comprehension. Beyond the distinction and chaos. We create chaos when paralyzed. Running like rats in a race. The paper chase has replaced a sense of what goes around comes around. Karmatic word sound resounding in the ethers. We forget that we are pure ether, immersed only in energy and moving without sight, remembering darkness before we knew light. Bright and magic, our souls unfold into the creator's mold. Mounds of matter and clay, we sway to the rhythm of the earth. Life forces emanating magical hands, we stand as man and woman, mastering remembrance, remembering with our sixth sense, a spiritual witness born into existence, born on purpose and on time, to rewind the days of old, unfold the untold stories of truth, be the ruthless ones we are, scattered amongst darkness like the stars that blanket the night. We are here to create change, and change will make the difference. Blood on the leaves, southern trees, blood at the roots, southern trees. Black bodies swinging, black bodies floating, Black bodies dying in the southern breeze. Strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees. Southern trees bears strange fruit.
Woo! I'm not trying to cry this morning. I'm not trying to cry this morning.
Wow.
Woo! Child,
Wow.
it just poetry just emanates out of you. I
Man.
love that. I
Oh
love that.
man. Give thanks.
I love
Man.
that.
And it's so
I love
interesting
that.
because I'm always, I think last week we kind of touched on when we were talking about Mr. Bohannon, I was inspired to share a piece. And you know, I'm always so humbled by being chosen. Like we're chosen, and then we accept the responsibility. And
Yeah.
so it just
Yeah.
really being in awe of how spirit, like, you know, conceptualization comes through us, and then somehow we're inspired to put pen to paper, and the magic that happens around that. Like, you know, I'm really humbled. I feel like the words are not my own. It's just like I'm a vessel, you know,
Gotcha.
just a vessel.
And
Yeah.
I feel that because I don't hear your poems. I experience your poems. And that's what I
Oh
always
wow,
liked
thank
about you.
you.
I experience your poems. And so when you took us back, you took me back to South Georgia plantations. And so
Hey.
I'm gonna do this one. I'm gonna dedicate this one to you because this what you just read just inspired me to read this. And so, sometimes we as Black folks can be our own worst enemy. So I wrote this poem. I've always worked for myself or done something in the underground economy outside of the typical 9 to 5 because that's how we have to subsist as Black people. But I had some Black people trying to railroad me in my position like I needed that job. Like I've never been a person like, yes, I like to pay bills, I like money, but I've never just needed a job where I'm going to just accept certain things, right? And I was like, mental slavery is real. So you just took me to the South Georgia plantation. So the title of this piece is called Like a Slave on Freedom Morning. Like a slave on Freedom Morning, okay? It's at night when it hits you. When loneliness comes and sprints and takes all of your night and weekend minutes. And in the silence, you can feel apologies trapped hopelessly in hearts that no longer feel anything except anxiety. Worry will eat at your core. Depression stalk you like unrelenting bill collectors hunting for past dues. As you dream for the good credit fairy to leave a small business loan under your pillow. Then that damn ghost from past lives dances with regret because a side deal with sorrow and pity looks to crash another damn party. Love becomes a trick question showing its ass. But then you find it. Like a slave on freedom morning who retires the cotton bag for uncharted waters, sink or swim, preserved like Georgia peaches with extended shelf life. Oppressors can never be teachers. Oppressors can never be teachers. And pimps know more about love than hopeless romantics whose remotes get stuck on Lifetime. Women leaving single watch girlfriends contemplating how to leave Tyrone's ass alone. But good loving cannot tame the common beast. Do you really want more? I say ghosts gonna run that voodoo down. Ghosts gonna run the voodoo down. And secrets become front page fodder. Lies get down to truth. And you ask yourself, what am I willing to give? Or how far can I bend? How do we coexist, make amends, say goodbye, wash our sins, forgive family, ourselves for being anything other than human?
Ooh. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm bouncing off
You pulled that out of me now. You pulled that one out now.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, on the backs of our ancestors, I'm gonna do this piece right here. I released a poetry music kind of collaboration back in 2005, and it was called "Spirit on My Back." And this was one of the first pieces I ever wrote. You know, this is on the spirit of our ancestors, on our great grandmothers. To God be the glory, and to when we ask ourselves from a spiritual questions, you know. And this particular piece, it was I remember a lot of the times for me, it would start with one line, and sometimes for me, it was through the growth process of growing into the work. Sometimes I was a neophyte. I wasn't even ready. So God only gave me one line. The creator was like, this is all you get, because this is where you at, you know. So, so I found myself just in a very precarious place. There was a lot going on in my world. I was asking a lot of questions about who am I? You know, I felt like I had a different calling other than my siblings, you know, and it was something I didn't really understand. And I remember a good friend of mine, June Mines from DC, she came to Atlanta, and I was just going through it. I was just like, wow, I'm not really understanding this life thing. You know, the feeling of being alone when you're going against the grain of most people. And so June said, you know what, Kemi, just come with me. You know, come back to DC if you have a few days, roll back with me. And I said, you know what, I'm going to carve out those days. As God is my witness, as Grandmama say, we left kind of like mid to late evening, and there was an orange moon on the right side of me. And that orange moon took us from Atlanta all the way to DC. When I got to DC, June set me up in her quarters, up in her attic, and she had a little funked out little situation there. And man, for about 7 days, you talk about quarantine right now, I was on self-quarantine. And these lines of this poem started coming to me, and it has been my kind of a roadmap, or the initiation. Oh man, if God took your passions and dreams and made it your destiny, what would you do? I said, if God took your passions and dreams and made it your destiny, what would you do? Would you see it through? Would you complete the task to make it last a lifetime? Would you cut corners or do it right the first time? Would you go out on the proverbial limb? Would you sink or would you swim? Would you wake up late or celebrate another day closer to freedom? Would you meditate or procrastinate? Would you accept what is said or find truth for yourself? Would you sacrifice your soul for physical wealth? Would you harbor past hurt as baggage you know, or would you water your spirit and allow it to grow? Would you open all your chakras and third eye too? Would you be willing to reveal the pure essence of you? I mean, if God took your passions and dreams and made it your destiny, what would you do? Would you follow your heart with no regard for what people might say? Or would you turn around and walk away? And by the way, people do say things that can sabotage your dreams in an instant. Snide remarks and no support system. Instantaneously, our dreams are transformed into a notion of fear. A fear that reduces our dreams into a mere good idea. And after all, a good idea is not a dream or passion of mine. Now the cycle revolves into the next time, but the next time may never come, because time may fast forward on this axis, but time will never rewind. Would you in fact follow your dreams in exchange for an infinite lifeline, in exchange for immortality? So if God, talk about a revolution. If God, talk about a revolution. if God took your passions and dreams and made it your destiny, what would you do? Would you follow your dreams? I'm still on it, Ed.
Woo, girl, let
Still
me
on
get a
it.
sip. Let me get a sip.
Get a little sip on that. That piece right there, Ed, I'm telling you, real talk for the people. Every single line was grueling. Do you hear me? Every
Yes.
single line, because it forced me to look at, you know, the relationships with, you know, my siblings. You know, would you harbor past hurt as baggage, you know, or would you water your spirit and allow it to grow? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, that means, you know, grandma say you lay your burdens down, okay? You forgive, you practice forgiveness. You know, you practice your responsibility in being there, you know?
Yeah.
And every single line, would you accept what is said or find truth for yourself? Like, what? It was
Truth
so,
may pass
like,
forward and spin on its axis. You know what I'm saying?
man, I'm telling you, that was a defining moment. It was really a defining moment for me, you know, to walk this walk and to be courageous in it when no one understands. And even there are times that I didn't really understand myself, you know, and these words were coming through me, and I had to live into them, you know. After I wrote this piece, it was like a rites of passage to answer all of those questions. So talk about a revolution.
You know what's so crazy? I mean, you can't see the whole shirt. Let me see. You can see right here. It says Black Joy is revolutionary. I got on that shirt. Black Joy is revolutionary. That's from Carlton Blackie and Black Man Smile. That's what I thought about in your poem. Black love is revolutionary. Because I figure, you know, since we on here talking about blackness, I'm going to support black folks. So shout out to Black Man Smile. But you know, are you who you say you are in real time? Is what I got out of that poem. But you know, since we talk about, you know what I'm saying? Because we talk a good game, you know, until we as rise the people power fist. But then you have to apply that in situations.
When the rubber meets the road, when the grease hits the frying pan for them chicken wings.
When it's revolution time, our nation time, are you ready? That's what I heard.
Are you ready?
You know
are you ready?
But you know, spirituality is all through your work. So I have a poem. When my brother passed, people like you was there for me, and you know, death is troubling for me, right? Because I realize it's troubling because I'm battling these Western world conceptions of death, and like the person is gone and never coming back, with these very African-centered notions of death, that the person goes on to the afterlife, is recreated, they visit you. And so I was toying with this Western world of death, what I know about death from an African-centered perspective, and I wrote this poem because someone was trying to comfort me, right? But it was so Western where I was like, you know, speak to me in black, please. You know? Like,
can I get the black vernacular?
Person, because what you're saying is not comforting me, right? And so this is how I was feeling when my brother passed. So this is dedicated to my brother. Rest in peace, Everett Martin Garnes. His middle name is for Martin Luther King. My mama gave him a shout out. The title of this piece is actually Mad at God. Okay. A sick comedian rendering death like off-color jokes. A faulty faith practitioner manipulating hope with weighty promises of eternal life. A suspect believer hurls questions like unchecked slavery, my brother's untimely passing, Bush's reign of terror, and wonders if evil is eternal or if the all-knowing is just conveniently pleading the fifth. Man.
Wow. You know, Ed, we own it, man. Okay, so
it's smoking.
So I too, at a certain point, was attempting to understand that which we call death or transition. And it was at the transition of a childhood friend. We used to play kickball, you know, on the side street between Miller and Pine Street.
Oh Lord,
and,
you with
you
that?
know, catch and go get it, you know, the whole nine. And he transitioned at a very early age, and it struck me. This
Oh,
goes
okay.
out to you know, all of those that we have lost, and who speak to us in private whispers, who
Yeah.
serve as guiding posts to us. This is in dedication to my father, which I did at his service, and I've done this at many people's who transition to offer bitter words to shed light on what transition is.
Come on.
Disheartened and disgruntled, I often wonder why God makes roam amongst angels and light beings, received by open arms that describe themselves as ancestors, the ones that watched and prayed and laid hands on our shoulders, the ones that told us over and over that we are not promised tomorrow. And tomorrow is really today, and today is all we have. To bask in the glory of sunshine, to unwind from our days and breathe. Breathe with the fullness of God's breath. Breathe with what's left of our physical lives, and He is smiling, far removed from this earth, experiencing rebirth on a new plane, sprinkling drops of rain on our foreheads, reminding us that all is well with her soul, that we stay open and focused on living our lives with purpose, making our 2 cents count, not counting each other out, mending, not breaking bridges, leaving a legacy of what God intended, embracing, not wasting time, time conscious time, allowing ourselves to feel, purging our souls to heal, climbing heights of spiritual consciousness, utilizing all that God gave to pave the way for another. So let not thy heart be troubled, for He has left His legacy in all of us, those that will be guided by her footsteps, and those that embody the essence of His love. And she is smiling, far removed from this earth, experiencing rebirth on a new plane, sprinkling drops of rain on our foreheads, reminding us that all is well with His soul, reminding us that all is well with her soul. Raise your hands if you're sure He is smiling. Raise your hands if you're sure she is smiling. Raise your hands if you're sure she is smiling. They are smiling.
Yeah. I feel a group reading, me and you, like it's very soon, you know, just
Yes.
us and like some microphones. I mean, so
Yeah.
what like I told you, I feel like I experience your poems. What influences how you deliver your poems? Because, you know, like Jessica Care Moore, y'all have different styles, but your work exists on the page and the stage in very profound ways. So what influences how you deliver the poem?
I think it's like the cadence. You know, I always regarded myself as a poet, not necessarily a
Okay.
spoken word artist. And
Okay.
though I've,
Mm-hmm.
you know, done music behind it, various things like that, and
Yeah,
embodied that,
yeah.
but just I think the influence is just between the cadence and the humility of the work, and of the reverence of being chosen, you know,
Okay.
the
Okay.
reverence of being able to understand, you know, to
Okay.
understand the self. And I don't know, it's just a lot of times it's just how it comes, you know.
Mm.
Um, and that was another poem that was really, I had a really kind of sit still and walk through it from a standpoint of being hurt, you know, feeling
Yeah.
the energy of that person and asking the questions of why, being angry, you know, and again, pulling something from behind a veil that perhaps we didn't see, you know. And so Yeah, I've done that piece several times. And it's so interesting how spirit works. Many times that I've done, almost 100% of the times, quite honestly, if I was on program, what have you, can I tell you that it rained at some point that day? Sprinkling drops of rain on our foreheads, reminding us that all is well with their soul, even when we don't understand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Grandma say, don't question God. But I do admit I had some questions.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, you got to sometimes.
So that's kind of where that's kind of where that came, and then good brother Applejack and I think that was God, I think that was the one I did. No, maybe it was God Took Your Passions and Dreams. The Applejack and I did a collaboration on If God Took Your Passions and Dreams. And I've had some opportunities, perform with Oscar Bound Jr. and Sonia Sanchez, and had a great opportunity to perform poetry. After the late, great Nancy Wilson, I was in LA and was invited out there. And, like you said, when you are in a position that people recognize you in such a way, it breeds more humility, and you just feel like, okay, I've made a marker. I've made a mile marker. I've done something, powerful, and I've made a contribution to society. So yeah.
This is why we click. I just wanted to hear, because it's like the poems jump in and you come out. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to know about your process. Yeah. But that made me think about, I don't know why I keep doing tribute pieces. I guess that's the mood I'm in. So Richard Pryor is like who I go to, like how authentic he's always been. So like whenever I'm feeling down, Richard Pryor is the way that I go. Shazan, we got a question. How do you stay motivated during this unique time we've been given? Well, Shazan, Richard Pryor, who I'm about to read this poem for, jazz and just prioritizing self-care and being unapologetic about it. In this space, nothing is more important than self-care, loving on my people, and that's it. So that's how I'm trying to do it. And just taking those days where I feel like bad, just let them happen. It's 7 days in the week, Shazan. If I can get 4, that's good. I have accomplished something. I try to go from there, get to 5, get to 6, get to 7. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Same here. That balancing self-care, and I think that we have work to do in that department. Sometimes, we've been so accustomed to taking care of others that self-care, we feel some kind of way about, taking time out for ourselves, and loving on ourselves. So, that's been a balance for me as well. And like you said, when I do have moments where, I find myself in a space of reflection, just being still, and honoring each and every moment as part of the process, and trusting the process, because it is a very unique, I like how Shazan coined it, a unique time. And I feel like it's an opportune time, and I feel like it's an opportunity, for us to peel back the layers, to and discover more parts of ourselves. I haven't, interestingly enough, I haven't really written, it's been just living into it, just live. Sharing today, our right now.
Yeah.
So kick us something else off, Ed.
Okay, I'm here. I'm here. You was breaking up a little bit.
Oh, okay. Basically, just the balance of that self-care piece. Balance. Balance. Shazan said we're both mirroring her thoughts. Yeah. And I was just saying that I haven't really written a whole lot, and it's just really powerful that the work that we're sharing now, that's from many, many years ago, our collective years in the game, and how relevant it is like right now.
Yeah, I mean, because I think we try to write about universal truths, and universal truths never go out of style.
Right.
Did you hear me, Kim?
Absolutely. I did.
How we looking on time?
We are looking like, it's 11:56.
Okay.
11:58.
I can do it short.
Do a short.
11:50. If it's 11:58, yeah, we just need to go on in.
All right. Well, before they cut us off, great people, this is Porch on Peachtree, where we discuss and dissect community concerns, music, art, current events. Catch us next week. We just enjoying the time, and we're gonna try to get that little piece in here. But if it cuts us off, we just saying goodbye to the people for now.
Well, I just, Spirit say just, let's just end here. You know what I'm saying?
Just let it be.
Yeah, just let it be. But I appreciate you because I needed to knock the dust off. When you can't remember your shortest piece, you got to knock the dust off.
Right.
So knocking the dust off is good for me because I need to start writing and getting it out again. So I just appreciate this space in order to share with you.
Yes. Same here. And check my Instagram. I have that.
Jessica on here. What's up, Jessica? What's up?
Oh, Jess. Wow. Man. But of course. I know.
Sister Jessica, we met.
That's all right. You know what? We're going to have to come back and do that.
Okay.
We'll have to come back. You will have to come back and see what. And actually, you know what? Good brother Fahama and I, actually a conversation that you and I had.
Yeah.
Ed, we got something coming down the pipes on the poetry. Okay. So, stay tuned. We love y'all. Just care more. Peace from the Detroit. Yes. We love you, girl. Power to all that you're doing, and power to everyone. Shazan, the mother poets in the house. To my girl. All our good people here. And we will see you on next week with another great topic on Porch on Peachtree. Ed, tell the people.
It was good. It was good.
Tipping our glass.
All right now.
To you all. We'll see you on next week. Love y'all.
Peace.
Peace.